Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. So, earlier this week, I started this whole 10 practices that you can do right now, right here at home to reach that high potential and high performance. So, it's happening on my Facebook. And I figure, it's important for me to bring it here so that everyone gets a taste of it. So, why do I want to talk about these high potential and high performance? Because I think we go through our life wanting to be successful, and we all have different definition of being successful. And I think one of the things as an entrepreneur, I learned it myself that in order to create that success, in order to reach your the level that you want, you really have to have that right mindset, right? So I am not the first person to tell you this, probably, and which is great. There's a lot of people out there who's very creditable and very well known, and we all have one common message, and that is you have this infinite amount of potential to reach to where you want to be who you are, and really it's about that mastery mindset. So how do you develop these mindset is through practices that we do. So every day, and I was sharing with someone else that every day it's a practice. Every day it's about taking little baby steps to reach to where you want to be. So, which is why I decided that I am going to bring this 10 practices to you so that we can go through every single day, day by day, and I will share some assignments that you can do at home that I would highly recommend that you find yourself a new journal and that you start writing and do some self-reflection in your journal. So, the fact that you are here, and even before I do that, I always forget to introduce myself. Right? I mean, how important is that to introduce yourself? So I'm Michelle Quay. I'm a confidence and leadership coach, and I work primarily with negative self-talker. The reason why I got into this whole field of negative self-talk is because for many, many years, I was a negative self-talk. I would say I am the expert in negative self-talk because I used to do it all the time on myself. Now, how did I break it? And it was a practice. It didn't just happen overnight. I was still doing that constant self-talk, but then it came to a point where I realized that by applying all these skills that I'm going to share with you, that you are able to, number one, live in the present moment. And we all know how valuable that can be, living in the present moment, so that we're not letting our busy mind driving us. And number two is that there's infinite possibility of how I can live in this world. I can be anybody who I want to be. And you see on the side here that these are my mission. These are my goals that I have with my business, with my public speaking business. So this is why I decided that, we're going to go through each practice that had worked on myself with me, and hopefully going through these 10 practices that you would also start living the life that you want to live, however that you want to define your success. So the fact that you are here watching, either this is a live or replay. If you're watching this as a replay, go ahead and put in the comment replay. If you're joining me live, then go ahead and say hello, and you can jump on and ask me question anytime you want. So you can just put it in the chat box. The reason why you are here is probably because you realize sometime within your life that there's something bigger and greater than yourself within you, and you want to use that, and that is your potential. But how do we get out of our potential in showing up, doing what we do, and knowing that we showed up 100%? So it's about that 100% engagement. It's about that 100% feeling energized and being passionate about the things that we want to do. So the fact that you are here, you're watching this video, it tells me that you are already going on that path of having that awareness. So, but here's the thing. There's a gap between having that awareness to where you want to be, because there's all these little tiny steps that no one ever talk to you about, which is why I want to fill in that gap for you and lay down really the foundation of how you can show up 100% energetically engaged and having that absolute passion for everything that you do. So learning the awareness is great. It's step number one, but practices are the one that's leading to sustainability. If you keep practicing every single day, this is why people say, practice meditation every single day, because there's a reason why they call it practice. You're supposed to do it on a routine basis. So knowing what stops us from moving forward in life, that is not good enough. Knowing would only bring us to be functional. It doesn't take us to the state where we're optimal. So there's three. We can only feel if we were to do that. If we were to stay in just being aware, we can probably satisfy the first three basic fundamental human needs, which include safety, security, and satisfaction. Right. So if we don't take any further, just having the awareness, I'm hungry. Okay. So we gotta work. We gotta make money to bring in food. We need to find a shelter. We need to have a roof over our head. That satisfies the security. But then how do you, as human, we are highly conscious human being and we're multidimensional. In order to make that work and fulfill that last human desire of satisfaction, we take it to the next level. We want to be able to reach to our full potential. So someone who doesn't have a mastery mindset would probably not understand the fact that life is actually full of opportunities to continue to learn and grow. Most people would probably just, I finished college, I finished graduate school, that's good enough. Let's go to the workforce. And guess what? Later on in their life, they realize there's something else that's missing. And what is that something else missing? It's about absolute passion. It's about 100% engaging to the things that we do in our life. So in order to be in an abundance, living with unconditional love and having that contentment, these 10 practices would actually help us implementing every action that we take. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start making a commitment to include those 10 practices that I am going to be sharing with you within the following 10 days. And I want you to start committed to bring it into your life and taking ownership of ourselves, of our lives. So what are those 10 practices that I'm going to be sharing with you? Number one is awareness. So the fact that you're watching this video, probably you are really fully aware that you have a human potential, you have a human design. So having that awareness is step number one. Day number two, we're going to cover acceptance. What is it about yourself and what is it about others or your current situation that you need to accept? And what are some of the aspects of your life that you are not accepting? Let's talk about acceptance. And which, by the way, acceptance is huge for me because for many years, I was not accepting there's some aspects of my life. So for those of you who have watched my video on my story, you know that I'm physically disabled. So part of my not acceptance is to my physical appearance. How do I look? I can't accept myself. And later on I'll show my the picture of my leg with you, because anybody who's standing in front of a mirror, who can accept that? No one, and which is completely normal. But then I come to terms to accept that. So acceptance, I see it as a doorknob that allows you to step into something bigger and greater once you turn that doorknob and enter. So acceptance we'll cover on day two. Day three will cover we'll cover conscious choice. So once you are aware, once you accept the situation, now what you have in front of you is your choices or your options. So how do you know that you're making a conscious choice? So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about how to trust in the process. So this is something that I find a lot of people are struggling because they are making a choice, but through that process of making a choice, and this really applies to a lot of new startup business owner, a lot of coaches that I come across, where they are doing so much, they're putting so much work into what they do, and they know that they made a choice. But it's about trusting the process that's missing. And sometimes people forget to trust the process. And trusting the process means that you have every single faith in believing that this will work out just the way that you want it to be. Even though, sometimes when we do, but the outcome is not what we expected, we get really frustrated, we get discouraged, and we stop trusting that process. We want to see the result. We want to see the outcome right away. That's where the trust comes in. So we'll talk more in detail on the trust in the process. We'll also talk about authenticity. So how do you show up in being authentic in your business, being authentic in the speech that you're delivering? How do you show up being authentically using your own language, sharing what you believe in? So we'll talk about authenticity and how that would play in a role in determining how successful we are in our life, or whether or not we reach to that full potential. Fearlessness is also something that's very important in showing up and doing our work. So if you're a business owner, you may find a new venture that you want to try it out. You find something that's new and exciting. You wanted to give it a shot. But unless you develop that sense of fearlessness, you may be giving up or giving in to the fear that arises. Well, how much am I going to lose? How much am I going to make, right? So we all experience that fear when it comes to something that's unknown, something is out there. We don't know how the outcome is going to be. So we'll talk about that fearlessness. Then we'll talk about confidence. This is my specialty, and this is my expertise, because once you let go of that negative self-talk, what you end up with is that enormous amount of self-confidence. Self-confidence, again and again, it's about not knowing what the outcome is. You simply just trust that you got what it takes to make it work, not only to make it work, but make it even better. So you have that enormous amount of self-confidence in the way that you show up, in the way that you carry a conversation, in the way that you're doing a presentation. That's really super important. Which, by the way, I'm doing a 10-day Speak Up challenge for all the coaches and business owners who's thinking about bringing their business onto a virtual setting. Because I think with the pandemic, what's going on right now is a lot of people have put a lot of emphasis in their live business, in the live setting. They do a lot of networking. They do a lot of live speaking. But when it comes to working remotely, this is not an area where people feel comfortable, because when I'm speaking to you, I'm actually not speaking to you. I'm speaking to my camera, and that there's nobody behind that camera. So that creates a lot of fear for a lot of people. They simply just can't turn on the video and act natural. They don't know how to speak. So I created this 10-day Speak Up challenge to help addressing and supporting you in overcoming that fear of public speaking. So if you're interested in signing up the 10-day Speak Up challenge, go ahead and send me a message, or you can visit my website at elevatelifecoaching.org, and just send me an email and just let me know that you're interested in signing up. I will reach out to you, and you'll be able to sign up. So about confidence, we'll develop that confidence through speaking, through our work, through the coaching that you do, through the webinar, through the lessons, through the things that you share on YouTube channel, on your social media. How do you develop that confidence, just period, in your life? Then we'll talk about being in the present moment. I think the biggest person that's in that space is Eckhart Tolle, right? The Power of Now. Wow, really powerful. I have it on my bookshelf. So it's a really great transformational book for me, and I keep it on my nightstand because every now and then I will go and flip on a page. It takes me right there, and it's speaking to me for that day. So we'll talk about how to be in that present moment. And I think this is also another area where a lot of people are struggling, because there's so many things that's going on in our mind. And again, that self-talk will come in. it's preventing us from staying in the present moment. We're always thinking about the future, how it's going to be panned out, how do we do certain things, and how do we need to plan for the unpredictable. So we're so busy in doing, we forget that this moment is what counts. So how to stay in the present moment. And lastly, we'll talk about engagement and commitment. So I think engagement and commitment is really important in our life, because no matter how I can preach all day, and unless you really commit to do something, or unless you really engage in participating or doing these practices, then we're going to go to nowhere. This is like another video that you just watch, and they're basically talking about mastering your mindset. But if you don't put it into practice, if you don't commit to doing these, it doesn't really matter. I'm spending 15 minutes just talking to air, because it's not going to change anything. So you have to be 100% committed and willing and engaging in order for you to live a different life. And it's entirely up to you. So these are the 10 practices that I am going to be sharing within the next couple of days. I would encourage you to make sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit subscribe button and put the notification on so you don't miss out any of my video that's coming up. And if you haven't already done so, I would encourage you to also follow me on my Facebook. It's at Life Coaching by Elevate. And as we go through the day, I will put out more videos and with skills and things that you can learn in your life. Hopefully you'll find it useful too. And again, it depends on you to actually want to do it into practice. Now, before we go, one last question for you. So I want you to take a moment and just kind of reflect on yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. I love scaling question. And by the way, in my past life, I've been 20 years of pharmacist. So pharmacists love the scaling question. We go see a patient and we will ask them, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your pain? So take a moment. This is what I want you to do. I want you to, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you believe you currently practice this awareness in your life? So let me say that again. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you believe you are practicing awareness, acceptance, choice, trusting the process, you name it? So go through each one, each day of practices, and just kind of give yourself a rating. Like, where am I on that scale of 1 to 10? Like, where am I practicing right now? Am I practicing at all? Or maybe I am a master in practicing this. So whichever way that it goes, just be honest with yourself. Where are you on that scale? Where are you on that journey? And why did you rate yourself as you did? So if you're giving yourself a 2, where would you like yourself to be? If you're giving yourself a 10, why is that? What are some of the evidence that you have been practicing at a 10? Come up with some examples. So that is it for today. I would encourage you, again, make sure you hit the subscribe button, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you tomorrow with more good stuff for you. Bye.